Welcome to Second Take, the show that focuses on the issues behind the news. JSE-listed Kumba Iron Ore has reversed the global cutback trend and increased its production 14% in the first half of this year. Mining Weekly editor Martin Creamer is with me in the studio today to tell us the story. Welcome to the show, Martin.
Hi, Shannon.
Kumba's results continue to reflect the company's strength as an iron ore supplier. Can you tell us some of the highlights of this?
Kumba Iron Ore is a great national asset because when all the world was cutting back, their main competitors who produce iron ore were cutting back. Vale of Brazil was cutting back. BHP Billiton of Australia and the world was cutting back, along with Rio, all cutting back iron ore production. Along came Kumba and said, we're not cutting back, we're going to increase our production, and how it has paid off for them. You know, just in their first half results, we've seen 63% increases in revenue and magnificent export performance. And I think they enthused everybody in South Africa by their attitude. Now, they do have to liaise closely with Transnet because it's one thing mining your product, it's another thing getting it to market. And they have worked so well with the state-owned enterprise that they have increased their sales into the export sales by 30%. This is in the eye of the storm. This is at a time when people are down and out. So you imagine how well they'll do when things improve. And so this has enabled them to increase their stockpile down in Saldanha Bay and get so much more into the export markets, which they're continuing to do even now as we go into the second half.
How much and on what is the company expecting to spend this year, and what effect will that have on the shareholders?
And this is great news for South Africa, not cutting back on expenditure. They're talking about going ahead at a rate of about 4 billion rand a year on capital expenditure. And that is because they're building a new mine. At a time when most people are not even thinking of new mines, they are actually going ahead with Sishen South. And they feel that the market is such that it will continue to pull. They are in quite a good strategic position because they're number 4 in the world, and they're seen as a strategic alternative by their clients. And China particularly gets on, famously with them. And you can see the total exports that they had in the first half of the year. They normally export 50% to China, but it went to 80%.
Now, speaking on China, they seem to have quite good ties with them. Can you tell us the story?
So good. That they said to China, we've had tremendous cooperation from our port authorities in South Africa. They're allowing us to build up a big stockpile. Is it possible that, the Chinese port authorities, can give us more space to stockpile our iron ore? And guess what the Chinese did? They went into a huddle and they came out and said, yes, we can give you more. And you know how they found the space? They bulldozed down their own offices.
That's impressive.
To give them additional space. But this is the great camaraderie that the South Africans have with their Chinese customers. We do see this tic-tac between China and Australia at the moment. And there's nothing like that on the horizon for the South Africans. The South Africans are met with open arms by their Chinese customers because they've had such a long relationship. And Kumba is not only a miner, it's also a marketer and a shipper. So it gets very close to its clients, and it makes sure that it doesn't put an agency in place to do all that work. It does it itself, and it's paying off.
Now, when does Kumba expect to see the economic situation begin to improve?
Well, look, they're still talking about a fog out there. The visibility is not so huge, and that's why I think it is their belief in their business that makes them go ahead, because in world terms, visibility is still down. There's still some fog there, but it doesn't stop them from going ahead full steam with the Sishen South project and from saying we will produce at least 10% more this year. So they're actually increasing their production. And, well, nobody really can tell when you will have this market upturn. All they can say is that the stimulus packages, the economic stimulus packages that the Chinese have put in place are really creating an additional demand for iron ore. But it is the uniqueness of our South African iron ore that's also impressive. We've got high quality ore. And because we work so closely with the customers, we make sure that there is value in the use of our ore. And we actually earn a little bit more for it as a result.
Thank you so much for your time, Martin.
Great. It's a great pleasure, Shannon.
That's the show for today. Join us again next time as we take an in-depth look at the mining world's premier projects, industries, and business personalities.